Kenyans want to know how many of our youths have been taken in since the abduction started, how many have been released, how many are still being held, and where it is that they are being held. I joined the Kenya Kwanza coalition owing to the fact that the principles that they espoused are in tandem with the principles of the party I belong to, namely the Democratic Party of Kenya. Many friends and political colleagues at the time warned me against joining the coalition, but at a personal level, I was persuaded that it would be driven by the ideals and the values that the coalition stated as a hustler nation to do the best for the people of Kenya. One of the things we had accused the past regimes of was the existence of disappearances and extrajudicial killings of Kenyans, and we vowed that we would never, at our watch, condone or allow such. We stated this time and time again in the lead up to the last general election. Today, there has been a number of abductions and in some cases unexplained deaths since the Gen Z revolts of June last year. And it is unfortunate as most of the people being abducted and or killed are our youth, leaving the parents, relatives, and friends, other family members in a state of confusion and loss. I have personally suffered as my son was abducted and disappeared, and I was not sure whether he was alive or dead, making us anxious and leaving me and my wife and the rest of the family in turmoil. It must be remembered that at that time, I was the serving Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, and as is well known, a member of the National Security Council as comprised under Article 240 of the Constitution. Despite making several requests, I was unable to trace my son, and I made demands to all the levels of the security apparatus of the country. Now, more than 6 months later, after that ordeal and the release of my son by unknown forces, he has not been charged with any offense, and the government at all levels has not been able to give me any explanation or reasons as to his abduction. The president has equally said that he would want to see the abductions end. Kenyans want to know how many of our youths have been taken in since the abduction started, how many have been released, how many are still being held, and where it is that they are being held. On Friday last week, to wit the 3rd of January, at a funeral in Embu, I stated categorically that it was not possible for the government to say that it did not know anything about the abductions, because that amounts to shunning its responsibility on accountability. That is why I took the issue with a statement made by the Inspector General of Police that he did not know where the abductees are. In my view, the government cannot be excused for abdicating its duty of protecting the lives and property of the people of Kenya. I note that after my statement in Embu on Friday last week, a number of the youths that had been abducted and held in Communicado have been released. But from the reports that we see every day, there are still many that are still being held. The cardinal duty of the state and the government is to protect the lives and livelihood of its citizens, and cannot claim to be unaware of such serious breaches of the rights of Kenyans to live free from wrongful confinement and the violation of their inalienable right to life. Therefore, the security forces should arrest and bring to book all those that are involved in the abductions without fail, and all the young people being held in illegal captivity should immediately be freed. I'm fully aware of the doctrine of collective responsibility of cabinet. But since I'm also a victim of the abductions and serving in this government, I've not gotten any answers as to why my son was abducted, held in Comunicado, and nobody gave any reasons for that abduction. I have taken this unusual step so that the matter of abductions and or extrajudicial activities being committed by whomever can now be honestly and robustly debated in the country with a view to finding a lasting solution to this scourge, which, if left unchecked, has the potential to plunge the country into chaos and anarchy. We cannot live in fear in a democratic country. Let Kenyans be. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Abdikadi. As my statement clearly shows, Abdikadir, I am concerned about the issues surrounding the abductions of Kenyans from all walks of life. Which is happening, and nobody can deny that it happens in broad daylight, in full glare of even the media. So for me, it has nothing to do with, it's not political. This statement is not political. It is just to say, please, let us now discuss this issue. We must find a solution. It cannot be that people are not being responded to in an atmosphere where they are discussing the problems. We must find what the problems is and try to come up with solutions democratically, openly, without any fear of intimidation. Well, we say this statement is sufficient in what it is saying. As to what happens thereafter, I think we close the Rubicon when we get there. Well, as I've said in a statement, the president himself has expressed the desire to see an end to the abductions. I believe he is fully cognizant of the potential that these shenanigans have to plunge the country into what I'm saying, total anarchy. So I don't have to have raised it because he has already addressed the issue and says he desires to see an end. So that's why I'm saying, in addition, can we now begin a candid conversation to see where the problem is and what solutions, if any. And this cannot be from one person. We want an open discussion where people are at liberty and free to express themselves as they wish. Yeah. Yeah? I'm not aware. I'm not aware of any forces that have been formed to abduct Kenyans, because that would be an illegality, and government cannot. Government cannot be the one abducting its people. It is for that reason that I think we need to discuss it openly. Yeah. To answer the last one, as I've indicated, I reached out to all levels of the security apparatus in the country. All of them. Everybody who was in the security sector knows that on that particular night, I reached out to all of them, and they all had no answers. Notwithstanding the clear clips that, thanks to Citizen Royal Media Services, I was able to get, showing the vehicle that was involved in the abduction. Secondly, the other point you raised, you see, when you attend a funeral, you attend on your own volition. Lene Kivuti, the former senator of Embu, is my neighbor at home. We've grown up together. When he's bereaved, just like I was some time back, we always come together. As to who else attends such gatherings, it's really neither here nor there. I cannot talk about other people, because I just found everybody, all the other people at the funeral. I attended in my private capacity because Lenny is my neighbor at home. We've grown up together, and it is not possible where I'm alive and able